Hey guys, it's Phantom here, and welcome back to a brand new video, everyone, where today I'm going to be recollecting the story of Mushu in its entirety. A lot of you really do seem to like these videos, as it seems like everyone falls victim at least at some point to skipping dialogue pertaining to the main questline. So today, I am going to fill those gaps in your brain. As I said before, I will be retelling the events that transpire when our wizard goes to Mushu in search of the key to Dragonspire. Keep in mind that I do have 4 other videos recounting the main storyline for the first 3 worlds, including the side world of Wisteria, so it would mean the world if you guys check those out as well. But for now, let us get into the complete story of Mushu. Picking right back up where we left off at the end of Marleybone, Malistaire now has the Croconomicon and seeks the Spiral Key to Dragonspire in order to complete his plans involving the summoning of the Dragon Titan. Worried for the sake of the Spiral, Headmaster Ambrose informs you that the only person who holds the key to Dragonspire is the Emperor of Mushu himself. So he sends you to Mushu to warn the Emperor about Malistaire's nefarious plans. When you first enter the world, you meet Suli, a citizen who tells you that no one may speak to the Emperor without getting permission from his guard first. So she redirects you to a guard named Noboru Akatame. Once you speak to him, you learn that apparently Malistaire has already visited the Emperor, and as a result of that, no one is permitted to see the Emperor at all. However, Akatame tells you that the guards are willing to make an exception to anyone who passes the tests of mind, body, and spirit. So that is exactly what you set out to do. First up is the test of mind, in which you visit Lopeng so he can administer the test. The test involves studying the patterns of the rock garden in the Mushu Commons area, as well as reading the Book of Celestial Wisdom. After you completed both of those tasks, Peng informs you that you have passed the test of the mind and asks you to go back to Akatame for the next test. Akatame then instructs you to duel the Samurai Yoshimo Toyo for the test of body, and you beat him swiftly and soundly. After that, it's time for the test of spirit, in which you must meditate at the Muda statue to determine if you are pure of spirit. The statue actually ends up speaking to you and tells you that you are indeed pure of spirit. Now that you've passed all 3 tests, it is time to see the Emperor himself. Upon entering the palace, you are greeted by the Jade Champion. He states that your warning has been in vain, as Malistaire severely wounded the Emperor after being met with utter refusal concerning the Dragonspire key and fled through the spiral door. Unfortunately, only the Emperor himself can grant you the spiral key, and he is of course extremely ill and in no shape to talk to anybody. He's also in an extremely deep sleep. You then determine that in order to get the spiral key, you must restore the Emperor back to full strength. Prior to sending you to Tankang, the Jade Champion tells you to keep the true state of the Emperor secret for now, as he does not want to cause mass hysteria. So after that, you of course visit Tankang, who tells you that the only way to heal the Emperor takes the form of restoring his mind, body, and spirit. Kang tells you that there is a link between the Emperor and the land, and the fact that the Emperor's health as well as the land itself is in shambles is proof of that fact. First up is the task of restoring the Emperor's spirit, and since the spirit of a samurai resides in his sword, we must get the Emperor's sword back. As it turns out, it was taken by Warlord Katsumari. Kang is confident that if you can get the sword back and restore the Emperor's spirit, you may also be able to end the war at the same time. So he sends you to Shojiro Gamma in Hemetsu village. Gamma tells you that the warlord stole his men's weapons and attacked while they were celebrating the Festival of Lights, and asks you to retrieve them. After you complete that task, you must then buy Gamma's men time, defeat some of Katsumori's troops, and intercept his orders. Once you complete all of that, you come to find that there is a spy among Gamma's men whose identity is unknown. What is known, however, is that they report to a warlord named Dodaga, so you go and defeat him, and after that, Gamma sends you to Sanasai Fukido in Tarakai Outpost. Upon meeting Fukido, he tells you that his post is currently being overrun, and that the reason why Gamma doesn't trust him is because as soon as he took charge, that is exactly when all of the problems started. To remedy this situation, he tells you to scout the enemy towers and learn anything you can about the supply lines. After that, you must go to Shaifeng, who will help aid you in cutting those very same supply lines. In order for the task to be complete, you must steal supplies, defeat more enemies, and take on the quartermaster. And of course you do just that. After all of that, you report back to Fukido. He tells you that in order to find the spy amongst his ranks, you must create a distraction that takes the form of burning the enemy's scout towers. Once you're done with that, Fukido informs you that's actually Maido, the leader of the enemy outpost who's been giving the commands all along. Once you defeat him, Fukido expresses his thanks and informs you that the entire war started in the first place because the Emperor refused a festival gift from Warlord Katsumori. He then instructs you to report back to Gamma, telling him what transpired in Tarakai Outpost. Gamma states his gratitude and then sends you into the Crimson Fields to speak with Hoi Meng. After speaking with Hoi Meng and Rakugan, you successfully strengthen the defenses of the stronghold in Crimson Fields and defeat Warlord Katsumori. However, something happens when the Warlord falls. He actually transforms into an Oni. And once you defeat the Oni, you are able to successfully reclaim the Emperor's sword and take it back to Tan Kang. Kang is distraught over the fact that you faced an Oni and worries that there may be more out there. After that, he instructs you to head to Shoshan village and ensure that the waters are still pure. However, when you arrive, you are greeted by Sun Hing, who informs you that all of the water is tainted. From there, he sends you to Din Ho in the Cave of Solitude. Din Ho confirms Tan Kang's suspicions and tells you that the Plague Oni, another demon, has contaminated the water and broken the Jade Scepter that is supposed to purify the water in the first place. Of course, if you put the scepter back together, you can diminish the Plague Oni's power. Din Ho apparently already knows where a piece of the scepter is, and after you retrieve it, he consults the ancient texts and finds out that a pig named Kodo is mentioned. Din Ho believes that Kodo holds the next piece of the Jade Scepter and asks you to retrieve it. After you defeat him, you are able to successfully obtain the second piece of the scepter. Din Ho then instructs you to go to the different huts all around the Cave of Solitude in search of the final piece, and coming back empty-handed, he then instructs you to go to a pagoda to continue your search. After defeating the enemy that lies within, you notice a note that says, "Good work on getting me the headpiece." And as it turns out, a warrior named Kanago actually has the final piece. After you defeat him, you return to Din Ho with positive tidings. He then tells you that you'll need the Forest Spirit's blessing for the Jade Scepter if you want to win this battle against disease, and then instructs you to gather different flowers to be used as different offerings for the Forest Spirits. Once that task is complete, you take the flowers and scepter to a brazier. Fortunately, you're met with success and the scepter is repaired. Now that you have an intact scepter, you go back to Sun Hing in Shoshan village. In order for the Plague Oni to be weakened, you must restore all of the shrines present in Kishai village. Sun Hing suggests going to Tulu Quo for aid. Quo tells you that you must seek out the shrine guardians first, and only then can you restore the actual shrines themselves. First, you seek out Kin Pao, and you immediately realize that he seems to not be feeling well. Apparently, the mushrooms around the village have been spreading disease, and you must destroy them to cure him. Once you do, Kin Pao is able to help you purify the shrine of the body. The next guardian to find on your list is Wu Ping, guardian of the Mind Shrine. However, upon entering the shrine, you are ambushed, and after defeating the enemies, you rescue Wu Ping from Katsumori's henchmen, and you're able to meet him in the Shrine of the Mind. Chang Su is the guardian you must seek out next, in order, of course, to purify the Shrine of the Spirit. However, when you go to the shrine, he's nowhere to be found. Quo suspects that he left to go join the war and asks you to go to Sesshu Nedakai to pursue him to become the new guardian of the Shrine of the Spirit. Nedakai states that he is honored by Quo's offer, however he is a warrior at heart and will not agree to be the new guardian. But Quo is determined to see things through and help Nedakai to realize there's more than one way to serve the Emperor. After administering 2 monk tests unbeknownst to Nedakai, it is revealed that he has a lot of qualities pertaining to that of a monk. With the newfound knowledge of his, Nedakai relents and becomes the new guardian of the shrine. Using the Jade Scepter with a little bit of help from Nedakai, you are able to purify the Shrine of the Spirit. Now that you purified all the shrines, it's time to defeat the Plague Oni. You track down his lair to Shirataki Temple and swiftly defeat him. Now that you are rid of the Plague Oni, you report back to Sun Hing, and he gives you a vial of pure water, for the Emperor of course. The next step is to report back to Tan Kang, and he informs you that the last step in the process to heal the Emperor will take the form of healing his body with the fruit from the Tree of Life. You come to find that the Death Oni has corrupted the Tree of Life, and in order to restore it to its former glory, you must seek out Hideo Kebo in Yoshihito Temple. He states that if you can get a hold of a powerful evil spirit, you could cross the cursed river that separates you from the Tree of Life. But since no evil spirit will willingly go through with your plan, you'll need a spirit cage to control it, which spurs your next task, to go to the ancient burial grounds to retrieve a spirit cage. Upon entering the ancient burial grounds, you encounter an ancestor of Hideo Kebo, Ichiro Kebo. He tells you that in his time, 3 brothers possessed the spirit cage, and to find out where it might lie nowadays, you go to the grave of the eldest brother and read its inscription. However, the inscription is only the first part of the puzzle. Using his knowledge of the brothers, Kebo leads you to the second piece of the puzzle. You take the clues back to him, and he tells you that he's figured out that the brothers lost control of the spirit cage right before their deaths, and apparently a strong spirit took the spirit cage as well. After learning that knowledge, you defeat Tamauji and collect the 3rd clue, and things start to make more sense. The 3 clues end up combining to make a sort of guide for living beings to find the spirit cage. And using all of the clues that you now have, you must locate the spirit torch to light the summoning candles that open the portal to the spirit world. Once you get the torch, you move on to the next task, collecting crypt dust to ensure that you can actually go through the portal. Upon collecting all of the necessary items, you go through the portal into the spirit world and defeat the evil spirit that holds the cage. After that, you go back to Hideo Kebo to inform him of what you've accomplished. All we need now to complete our journey is an evil spirit, to which you go to the village of Sorrow to acquire. The spirit Kenshi greets you as you enter the village and states that his family is haunted by an evil spirit and wants you to get rid of it. In the process, you free a spirit named Ting Yin, who informs you that you'll need a soul chain to bind the spirit to the spirit cage if you wish to control it. So he sends you to the blacksmith Zhang Bi, and with her aid, you are able to forge a chain and capture the spirit of Oyatomi the Defiler. And then you head back to Kebo. Kebo informs you that the cursed river does not allow anything that is pure and good to cross it. But luckily for you, you have an evil spirit. Once you find the Tree of Life, you find that it is wilted, and in order to restore it, you must defeat the Death Oni himself. After taking the Dagger of Shadows from Numinaga, you use it on the Tree of Life to open a portal to the spirit world, where the Death Oni resides. You of course eventually take him down and restore the Tree of Life, and with the tree back at its mature state, you take the Fruit of Life back to Tan Kang in the Jade Palace. Kang of course urges you to go to the Emperor as quickly as possible. After going back to the throne room, you place the Emperor's sword beside him, pour the purified water onto his wounds, and feed him the Fruit of Life. After you do that, the Jade Oni challenges you to a battle. After its defeat, the Emperor regains control of his original form and thanks you. You manage to acquire the Dragonspire Spiral Key from the Jade Champion, who tells you that Malister had to leave it behind while traveling to Dragonspire. With your newfound prize, you report back to Headmaster Ambrose, and that's the story so far. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Really hope you guys did enjoy just, me educating and summarizing the story of specific worlds, within this game. So hopefully this did help you out for all those dialogue skippers. And if you guys really did enjoy, you could always leave a like or subscribe to the channel. It would mean the absolute world to me, and I really appreciate it. But anyways, I will see you all in the next one.